Hi guys, my name is Kylie and today I'm going to be doing the No Disclaimers book tag. This tag was created by Michael at Catalyst Reads, who asked me if I'd like to do the tag, and so I am going to do that today. And we're going to get right into it. The first question is, which trope in books annoys you the most? And for this I'm going to say the trope where the love interest can fix any mental illness that's ever been wrong with the main character. I think that that's unrealistic and gives people this false need for somebody else to come and fix them, which just isn't realistic and it just doesn't work that way. So I don't like to see that in books, and I find a lot of books have that. The second question is, which writer or writers do you feel are overrated and overhyped? And I'm going to say E.L. James, the writer of the 50 Shades of Grey novels, which I personally didn't like at all. But my friend was absolutely obsessed with them, so I decided to give them a shot, and I got through the first one and I just couldn't finish the second one because I just didn't like them. But I've heard a lot of people that don't really read books in my personal life that think they're just wonderful, and I'm wondering if maybe the reason they love them so much is because they don't have any good writing to compare it to. But I guess I can see the appeal. It was so different at the time that it was written, but just definitely not for me. Number 3 is, what are your least favorite books you've read since joining BookTube? And this is probably kind of an unpopular one to say, but it would be Alysa and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia, but I just didn't like it. I started liking it a lot when I first started reading, but then I came to this part that was so similar to The Fault in Our Stars, which I really like. That's one of my favorite books, which I know a lot of people on BookTube don't like that book, so I'm wondering if maybe that's why they didn't notice the similarities. But in Alysa and Her Monsters, there's a part where her favorite author writes this series and she stops at a cliffhanger and never writes anymore, and her love interest in the book thinks that they should write her a letter and harass her about why she became a hermit, and so on and so forth, which is exactly what happens in The Fault in Our Stars with Hazel Grace's favorite author. And Augustus really wants to write him a letter, and they do, and then there's this quote in there that says, "We're on a roller coaster," or "this was a roller coaster that only goes down," or something. And obviously everybody who's read The Fault in Our Stars or knows anything about it knows that one of his famous quotes from the book is, "I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up." So I thought that was a little bit odd, and then I would just find really unignorable similarities in there, and it just really bothered me. Then when I looked up on Google if anybody else saw these similarities, I did actually find some book blogs that said that as well, so it must not have been all in my head, but I think it definitely bothered me more than it bothered other people, just because I do love The Fault in Our Stars so much. The next question is, a terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book. And I'm going to give some spoilers for Allegiant right now, the third book in the Divergent series. The ending of Allegiant ruined it for me. I loved that series. It was one of my favorite series that I have read. And then the ending when Tris dies and Tobias is all by himself just kind of ruined the whole thing for me. I couldn't even read 4 when it came out because I just felt too emotional about it, and I wish that she hadn't ended it that way. I think it was kind of unnecessary and upsetting for me personally as a reader who was not so much attached to Tris, but I really loved Tobias. So in my opinion, if a character had to die, I would almost have rather him died, because then he doesn't have to live without her and be sad after he finally let somebody into his life. So that would be the ending that kind of ruined everything for me. And then some Hunger Games spoilers for you. I was very mad that Katniss ended up with Peeta. I did not like Peeta at all. I really wanted her to end up with Gale, but then after I watched the movies, they make Gale out to be kind of obnoxious, so you don't really want her to end up with Gale. And so in the movies, I'd rather her be with Peeta. In the books, I would way rather have her be with Gale. So that is another ending that kind of ruined for me. And then my last one would be the Selection series by Kiera Cass. I thought it was such a happy, upbeat book, and then at the end, there's just sort of, in my opinion, a misplaced rebel attack where, spoiler alert, a bunch of people get shot, including Celeste, I think was her name, which you just start to like the character and then she just gets shot in the head for no apparent reason, and that was kind of bothersome to me too, I guess. Next question is, which fictional character do you wish were not killed off? And more Hunger Games spoilers. My favorite character in all of the Hunger Games was Finnick, and then they went and they killed him, which was very upsetting for me. I would rather they have killed Pia, which they don't. Number 6, what are some of your other bookish pet peeves? And for me, that would be unrealistic happy endings or unnecessary sad endings. So if a book would benefit from a sad ending, if that's the only realistic ending for it, then yes, I think that's how it should be and not completely twist the plot and give it a happy ending. But then on the other side of things, when a book would not have to end sad and they go out and they kill somebody, or they just, like the selection did, completely just butcher people at the ending for no reason, that is one of my bookish pet peeves. The next question is, what are some books you feel should have more recognition? And I'm going to say The Valley of the Dolls by Jacqueline Suzanne and The Goldfinch, which I do not have a physical copy of. I listened to the audiobook of it, and that is by Donna Tartt. I've never heard anything actually about either of these books on BookTube from the people that I personally watch. And I really, really like The Valley of the Dolls. It's about these girls who get addicted to pills, basically, and they're in Hollywood, so it's a high-stress sort of thing, and they take pills to sleep, they take pills to wake up, they take pills for everything, and just how that affects their life and makes their lives all go downhill. And The Goldfinch is about this boy who experiences an explosion in an art gallery that kills pretty much everybody except for him, and just basically his life after that, how he copes with having lost his mother at such a young age, and something else that he does that I'm not going to tell you, that you'll just have to read the book if you want to know, that ends up being a huge problem for him for the rest of his life following that day with the explosion. And the next question is, what are your thoughts and feelings on censorship and banning books? And I think that it's silly to censorship and ban books. Other than giving me a list of books that I want to read, it really doesn't serve any purpose to me personally. I think that what people read should be between them and their parents if they're underage, or just them if they're not. And personally, my parents never censored what I read, so I could read whatever I wanted and watch whatever I wanted, and I like to think I turned out just fine. So I think that sheltering people too much can definitely make them take a turn for the worse rather than keeping them safe. That's normally how it ends up, it seems, from my experience and the people that I've known. So I think that it's stupid to ban books, especially when I look at some of those banned book lists and I can't find anything wrong with the books on them. Like Looking for Alaska, for instance, another book that I know a lot of people don't like, but it's been on the banned book list, and John Green was talking about how the reason he was told that it was banned is because of that really small scene where they almost describe a blowjob like it's not really anything, and it's awkward, and it's not really sexual at all. It's not explicit in any way, and I think it's stupid, personally. And the last question is, who do you tag? And I'm going to tag Emma Rund, that Bookie, and Alysa Morley, as well as Pages and Prose. I'm going to leave all of their links in the bottom bar, as well as the creator of this tag, Michael. I will leave his original video in the description bar. And I hope that you guys will do the video, and I can't wait to watch it. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good rest of your day. Bye!